What's up, everybody? Welcome to another edition of Talking Elite Fitness. I'm Sean Woodland, joined by Lauren Khalil. Lauren, how are you?
I'm good. I know I'm going to disappoint you though, because you can see if you're watching this behind me that my home has been decorated for Christmas, but I didn't do it. My aunt was staying at my
Okay.
house watching my dogs and she did it. So I'm not going to take ownership, but I'm
Yeah,
also going to leave it.
I just
As the
feel
Gen,
like, go ahead, Tommy.
as the Gen Zers would say, sus.
Oh, okay. That's the Riz, or
Oh,
I don't think that I used it correctly in the
I don't,
sentence, but
God,
I
stop.
don't,
Get older.
stop. Everybody stop. The
And
show's on fire.
featuring Tommy Marquez. Tommy, how you doing? How's dad life?
it's great. We just about slept through the night last night.
Woo!
It was
Whoa, how many
crazy.
hours? How many hours?
Outside of like a quick pit stop for feedings, pretty much from like 8 p.m. to 8 a.m.
You or the baby?
Baby,
Whoa.
definitely not me.
Okay.
I could do that. It is physically possible with
I
my
know it.
being right now to do that. But
I know it's. I
yeah,
know it definitely is. But
Nice work.
back to Lauren's decor. I just feel like once you put the Thanksgiving meal away, have at it. But let's let Thanksgiving have its deal here. Like, let's
Oh, yeah,
have it.
that's why I didn't let her put the tree up.
Okay, good.
She sent me
Perfect.
a picture with, like, the dogs, because every day that I'm away, she will
Mhm.
send me update
Yeah, you got
pictures of the dogs, and she,
updates.
like, put tinsel around them and posed
oh,
them next to, like, some reindeer in the corner, and I was
you're
like,
you're
"Okay,
not
I
ho-
guess."
you're
What?
not hosting dinner at your house, right? You're not having Thanksgiving dinner at your house because
No.
that'd be like bringing your girlfriend over and your parents still have photos of your ex up on the wall. You know, it's like I'm right here,
Yeah.
Lauren.
Relatable.
Yeah. Oh man. Well, yeah, we haven't started the Christmas decoration, but the amateur hour that is the Christmas tree shopping has already started in my neck of the woods
Mhm.
because of all the Christmas tree farms that I live by. It is, oh
Oh,
man,
I love
it's
them.
just the drivers are just killing me. They do not know how to drive on roads, but that's a conversation for another time.
That's a no rep.
Excuse me. Yeah, it is no rep. Um, man, I got a little something stuck in my throat. I think I had some granola
Ooh,
back there. Anyway, here's what we're going to do today. We're going to summarize the changes that everyone's been talking about to the CrossFit Games season. And speculation's been out there. A lot of it has been correct, but we're just going to get that out of the way. We're going to get a reaction from Carolyn Lambre, who is the coach and partner of one Jeff Adler, the 2024 Rogue Invitational champion and the 2023 fittest man on earth. And then we're going to have a little discussion on the back about kind of what we think and some what if scenarios. Whoops. That's weird.
what? Huh.
Nothing. I just got, I thought that went away. Sorry. I thought we stopped recording for a second. Anyway, before we do that, we have got to thank our sponsor for today, and that is Thirdy. And look, Black Friday is coming up this week, and Thirdy is running a site-wide sale. Okay, they're going to have 40% off. That's 40% off before you do a thing. Okay, now during the Black Friday weekend, if you use thirdzy.com/TEF, you're going to get an extra 5% off your order. So you're
Bow, bow,
already
bow, bow,
getting 40. Yeah,
bow.
you're already getting 40 right off the top. You go to thirdzy.com/TEF. That's another 5. You round that up. That's basically 50%. You're almost getting half off the deal here. Their products are fantastic. They help you get to sleep faster, stay asleep longer. Their rest and recovery collagen is the best on the market. It is unbelievable. The stuff it is, I say this all the time, has really helped improve the sleep that I get. I still don't get enough. I get it. But the sleep that I do get is of much higher quality, and I wake up feeling better. I'm not in a zombie-like stupor when I roll out of bed. I don't wake up as much at night. Uh, yeah, it's absolutely worth it. It has GABA, L-theanine, magnesium that helps calm and and relax your central nervous system. It doesn't have melatonin, so it's not habit forming. I cannot recommend this stuff enough if someone like me who kind of struggles with sleep. So thirdzy.com/TEF. If you go there before Black Friday, you're going to get 20% off using that code. Black Friday weekend, you're already getting 40% off. You get another 5 off the top. That's a hell of a deal. May as well subscribe at that point and just get it delivered on a monthly basis because it's that good. And it's a great deal. So thirdzy.com/TEF. Black Friday coming up. You'll thank us.
Give
Okay,
me
let's
good.
start with just a couple quick headlines before we get into our interview or our summary of what's going on with the changes. First off, uh, we mentioned a couple of weeks ago, one of the headlines was Shawn Ramirez, who has been suspended once for violating the PED policy, has now received a lifetime ban.
Yeah, I mean, we when it first like popped up, I think kind of the consensus was like this seems appropriate, right? Like
Mhm.
Mhm.
you get the first one, it's 4 years. Second time, it's yeah, you're done. Like at that point.
Yeah, I
Uh,
mean, I don't know what to add to that, but I'm a big believer in, you do your time, you get a second chance, you do not get a
Mhm.
third. And,
Yeah.
you know, I
yeah,
have had positive interactions with Sean personally,
same.
and I feel bad, but but these are the rules, man. And I don't know. I just I don't think you solve this by just giving another suspension and let
No,
him.
because then that's just justifying or allowing it to keep happening, because then if you let it happen twice, then where do you draw the line? I think that this was the right call.
Then the other thing, I think we're all in agreement on that. Agreement, that's not even a word. Um, the next thing that happened is that after some fallout from the announcement that the first announcement last week, which was the quote unquote results of the third party investigation and what was or was not going to be done out of that. And now we already have some athletes who have kind of said, yeah, I'm not going to participate in that.
Yeah, I don't want to put words in Luca's mouth. He had a very strongly like worded post, making his feelings very clear, and rightfully so. So it would be my guess that he's not going to compete in this season in anything CrossFit related. And
Safe assumption.
yeah, but
Mhm.
on top of that, you've had other athletes step up and speak out. Like Emma McQuaid posted her social media that she's not going to be a part of it, no, saying that CrossFit's not going to change. Um, there is a post from Chandler that implies that maybe he's focusing his efforts elsewhere
Mhm.
in other fitness realm. I believe the term was what was it? Not stopping, just turning. Good run, and it was like kind of a history of photos from his time competing in CrossFit at the games from, was it the 2017 regional? Remember when he first popped up on the scene,
I'll
ripping
never forget
those 405 deadlifts,
that.
and everybody was like,
Oh,
oh, and to him, at the Ruck in 2019, his first year, to doing stage one of the virtual year, to making the games in 2021, and his he even posted from his where he had the allergic reaction and the respiratory issue when he was at
yeah.
Granite Games that year.
I
He
remember
even
that.
posted,
Mhm.
yeah, he
No, I
even
almost
posted a
forgot about
photo
that.
from that, and it's just kind of like a little chronological timeline and a really cool photo of him standing there waiting at check-in this year. So it seems like he's going to maybe focus elsewhere. I'm hearing maybe High Rock, some other options are on the board for him. And then there have been subtle posts from Australian athletes like Bailey Martin talking about like going and doing some High Rock stuff. I thought Jay Crouch said a professional fitness racer.
Yeah, I
So
saw that.
that came across as, to me, I interpreted that as, I'm not going to call myself a CrossFitter.
Mhm.
That's not a label that applies anymore. Whether that means he's going to compete in the CrossFit season or not, but maybe like pulling out like I need to, that's not how I identify anymore. So there is definitely some fallout. I don't think this is the end of it. You know, as athletes kind of come out of the woodwork more and kind of share their feelings, and we
Mhm.
see the lack thereof of signups and stuff like that. I would be surprised if we see some more major names sitting out, and that's kind of to be expected, right? Like
Mhm.
Mhm.
I, I, it's just like we saw at the games, right? Some athletes were not afraid to put their flag down and let their feelings known and step aside and be very outspoken about it. And I think even Ariel alone has talked about, to something to that extent, having some discussion with people. I think I've seen in comment sections just saying like, "Hey, I'm good.
Mhm.
I don't need to follow this if it's not going to align with me anymore."
Yeah. Okay.
And I
Well,
think
Go ahead, Lauren. Sorry.
Yeah, and I just think that athletes are probably waiting to see the full scope and what the season looks like. You know, we have some breadcrumbs, but we don't have the entire pie yet of what the season is going to look like. What are the dates? What are those in-person sanctionals? When are they going to be? Are they competitions that athletes have experience with? And what are these other potential opportunities for competing in person in
Yeah.
CrossFit that could be other verticals? And I think it's intelligent for the athletes to not just identify with CrossFit and be able to diversify, because from earning opportunities to exposing themselves to other sponsors
Mhm.
and brands to help make themselves a professional athlete. So maybe that could be the silver lining, is more opportunities for athletes. Maybe it just looks a bit different.
Yeah. Well,
Mm.
that's a great segue. So let's talk about what's going on here. So this was the post where that you're looking at right now, if you're watching this on Instagram, and it was the 2025 game CrossFit game season is just around the corner. And you sift through here, you go to the next slide. So the individual season goes from the open, it's 3 weeks again, February 27th through March 17th. There are no more quarterfinals. The top 1% of the open finishers move on to semifinals, and those are going to be held inside an affiliate. So you're going to do those remotely, be online, as that speculation's been out there.
Mm-hmm.
And then a minimum of 30 men and 30 women move on to the games. Now, there's also an in-person, they're calling this in-person qualifying events that are held April through June. And as Lauren said, we don't know what those are. We don't know when those are. We don't know how many. We don't know what the qualifying process is going to look like. Like if if you win one, you're in, um,
And where they are,
and where they are. And
what
now,
regions will have them. Yeah.
yeah, and so the key wording here is minimum of 30, right? Which
Oh,
means they
I read
have
over
more.
that word.
Yeah, minimum of 30. So maybe they have more, but
Hmm.
like who knows? So that's going to be something that we're going to have to sift through. So that's the individual side of things right now. Then you go in affiliate and in person. So in affiliate semifinals, they give some more details on that. April through May, athletes must complete their workouts in an affiliate and will be expected to record and submit their results with enhanced judging and video submission requirements. Okay, that's a good thing. I think. I mean, I don't know what that's going to be, but the fact that they look like they're going to raise the bar a little bit on the standards, I think that's a good thing. Judges will be required to hold a current CrossFit level 1 or higher and also complete the 2025 judges course and a new advanced judges course. Okay. And then in-person qualifying events, they have those listed April through June. Why is this doing this? And that is athletes will complete their workouts at multiple live in-person premier events around the world as official qualifiers, giving our athletes more places and more time to qualify. Okay, so that, like, just to take a pause there, if you're someone, if you do the in affiliate semifinals and you get docked for not standing all the way up on a box step up and you're out, you still have another avenue to go. You could go live in person and work your way
In theory, yes.
in theory. That's what that sounds like to me.
Yeah.
Okay. Then next slide, teams. CrossFit Open, February 27th to March 17th. Same thing. In affiliate semifinals in April, and then the CrossFit Games in August. All are eligible to move on from open to semifinals. Top 20 teams, max one per affiliate, move on from semifinals to games. So there you go. So I guess there's no, you got to do the open. That's an entry level thing.
Mm-hmm.
They don't cut it down and then everyone does semifinals. Age group, same thing. Open, in affiliate semifinals, teenage and masters CrossFit Games. Adaptive, you got the wheel wad open, so they'll be running that again. The wheel wad semifinals, and then wheel wad adaptive CrossFit Games. So same kind of structures we've seen in the past. Now they have a community thing, so this is new. So this is you do the open, and then you have a community cup that is in June. So all athletes who post a score for the 3 open workouts are eligible to participate in the community cup. Now that sounded like in the end, they had like these last slides that are just sort of a full look. The community cup is something where the way I understand it, and you guys can correct me if I'm wrong, is that you submit your scores, you get ranked, and then like you receive a level, like whatever it is, like if I'm a 7, and then I can go to this thing in June, whatever that is, and I can compete in person against other people of my ability.
I don't know if it's in person. Is that confirmed?
I don't know if it's in person, but it sounded like it was being held in affiliates. So the
It
way I
sounds to me like quarterfinals, but just moved to a
yes,
different part of the season.
I
Yeah,
think that makes sense.
yeah.
The way I kind of read it is maybe they're trying to have affiliates in your area, like organize an event or a competition where you would go and compete with local people, like a local throwdown. But I think Lauren, you're probably more correct.
I mean, that would be cool if I live in central New York and an affiliate within, I'll say 90 miles of me is going to be the one to host it, and athletes that qualify from, within 90 miles go to that one location to compete. I think that's cool.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
I don't know if that's required, but it might be able to happen. That's where we just lack details.
Yeah.
But I like
I
that.
mean, if this were in a vacuum and we didn't have all the other things going on, I'd be like, that's kind of cool. If they offer up very like fun and unique ways to compete in that, so say like there's pairs competitions and things like that that you can do with people in your affiliate,
Mhm.
that is an access point through the open. Great.
Mhm.
Is the temperature of the room really a way I want to pay more money to CrossFit right now?
Well, and that's
Timing
my
of
other
that isn't great.
question is like, what I would assume that money would go to CrossFit, but if, for example, if my local affiliate is hosting that, I don't know that my affiliate would say yes if they're just gonna ask their staff to come work the event, judge in person for free.
Yeah.
Like, I would feel like the affiliate would have to get some kind of piece of the pie, which
Well,
then leads me to they're getting rid of quarterfinals, which they moved it from the top 10% to the top 25% in order to make additional revenue. Now you're getting rid of that. So how is CrossFit going to make up that loss?
Yeah. 32,000 people signed up for quarterfinals.
yeah.
Uh,
And
with
what was
teams
it?
and
50
everything like
bucks a pop?
50 on the conservative side, CrossFit brought in at least 1.7 million from
Okay.
registrations and quarterfinals. That's counting like the other divisions and stuff like that. So
Mhm.
So this
yeah,
is the article that's on CrossFit on the game site, games.crossfit.com. New Community Cup. And the third bullet point reads affiliates, pardon me, that are interested in hosting the Community Cup will receive details shortly. So that
yeah,
made it sound to me like they're going to try to get people
Yeah.
together in one central location to do this. Let's see what else we got on the article because there's some additional details here. Why can't I? There it is. Let's see. New pairs competitions is something else. New in 2025, we're introducing a brand new in-person competition for pairs. Individual and masters athletes who compete in the open can partner with another athlete from anywhere in the world. Both partners will use their open scores to qualify. The top pairs will then qualify for an in-person competition hosted by Masters Fitness Championship.
hmm
So that's something else.
yeah,
Um, So that's where we are right now. There are very few now in-person competitions. I mean, I shouldn't say very few. There's one that we know of in the season now, the games. That's that's it right now. Now, how many of those qualifying events that happen in there, I don't know. I don't know if those will be covered like the semifinals were. I am assuming that it will be on those events to kind of figure that out, that they'll be given a qualifying spot, or how many qualifying spots they can hold. Like, let's just use the Mid Atlantic CrossFit Challenge as an example, because Wilson's a great guy and runs a good event. If he throws his hat into the ring, he'll have an event. He will probably do a community thing. They'll have a competition that I'm guessing he gets to program, because I don't think there's going to be any sort of requirement from CrossFit that you have to use universal programming across all these qualifying events. That would kind of defeat the purpose. Um, and then whoever wins your competition, or the top three, whatever that is, goes. But if you're going to have a minimum of 30, I guess the question I would have is like, how does that, you're not going to have a set number at a semifinals because you don't know how many people are going to qualify to the in-person events. I guess you have to get the in-person events figured out how, and then if there's like 5, then you qualify 25 out of semifinals and 5 out of that.
Well, that was one of the major drawbacks of sanctionals, that the races for the game spots were relatively lackluster
Mhm.
because you never quite knew where things were going to fall,
Yeah.
especially when you had sanctional events happening before the Open. And the hierarchy of the qualification process was that Open and national championships get priority, and then spots are awarded at sanctionals. So it was like, at Dubai, for example, that always kicked things off. And then even Filthy 150 the year before, it was like you got your spot because you won, but you're the only one that knows for sure that you got a spot. It could end up,
Mhm.
that, eighth place gets a spot later on down the line. And that's just like the storytelling behind it, the excitement around it, the cut line drama, all that stuff that makes the qualifying process exciting was just gone.
Yeah.
And in some cases, like, it wasn't even a person from the first heat that was in line to get from the top heat that was in line to get a spot.
Mhm.
So you're like, maybe him, maybe this person, we're not quite sure, because
Yeah.
if this order shifts, it could all be different.
In theory, I like the idea of sanctionals, but if like Tommy's talking about, the logistics, the organization, I prefer, I get that it's like maybe boring for a spectator, but I prefer standardized programming as a qualifier to the games. I think then everybody's at least on the same playing field. And then, because then you have the issue of athletes saying, oh, well, this competition doesn't program ring muscle ups, so I'm going to go to this competition. Or, this one was too hard, so now I'm going to go to the easier one. And it just, I think that CrossFit, and we'll get into this more later, I think, but I think that they're losing that title of crowning the fittest when you have to piecemeal all of these things that really muddy the waters of how people are getting to that final test.
Yeah, and the
Yeah.
other thing is too, and we'll get into our interview with, or Tommy's interview with Karen Lambre here in a second, but if you're going to assume, which I think it is safe to make this assumption, that your best athletes are going to qualify in the semifinals, then what do your fields look like at these in-person events? If your top 15 in the world are like, I'm good, I'll see you at the games. Yeah, like that.
Nobody
Yeah.
qualifies from the Open, right?
No, you don't
Okay.
qualify.
No.
You just qualify for the in-person semifinals, and if you ace that test and you're in, then there's no need to
Yeah.
go to
Puts
any,
a really heavy emphasis on the 3 weeks of the Open for sure, if
which
you're
is,
cutting to
which is good.
1%.
Which is good.
What?
Dave
Yeah.
said we're going to make the Open matter again. I think
Sure.
now the Open gets, at least from a leaderboard watching perspective, gets a lot
Yeah, but
exciting.
the programming
But
has to
then
be
what?
really on point. It has to weed out a lot of specialists. It has to do a lot more than what it has traditionally done in 3 weeks, at least in my opinion.
Yeah.
And then you have to make sure that your judging process, to make sure you can actually cut down to the 1%, is spot on,
Yeah.
because you have to go, anyone that impacts the leaderboard in any way, shape, or form has to be judged thoroughly. So
Oh,
so if
man.
old if so if there are people fighting for those last couple of semifinal spots, and somehow the last open workout is being 6'3" and Mexican for time, and I somehow factor into the leaderboard, then they got to make sure that they're judging all my stuff, right? I have to make I Because if I'm altering the calculus for other people, that's not fair.
Yeah.
Do you think this will negatively impact the amount of individual athletes that participate in Wadapalooza because it's getting close and just
I don't think so.
I
I don't think so.
Yeah,
I still think the best in the world are they fall out of they can fall out of the bed in the morning and they go and they're going to be in the top 1%. Like, it's not.
I actually think it could push them the other way. They're like, I have no idea what this like rompus time is going to be with
yeah.
CrossFit Games, so I'm going to for sure go show up at a premier event in a new
So you can win
location where
money.
I can win money, activate with my sponsors, and start to take care of take care of what I need to take care of the first month of the year, right?
Good point. Yeah.
So
Yeah, it'll be interesting to see how that